Good evening, everyone. I just want to, first of all, thank you for all being here tonight and giving us about an hour, hour and a half of your time. It's our goal tonight that when you come on Monday morning, you feel comfortable with what we're going to be doing here. It's not all a surprise to you, so we're going to kind of map out a typical day at Strong Rock. And then this is a very open session. If you have questions, please raise your hand. We will do a lot of talking. I would rather you talk than me. So if you have a question, you're probably not the only person in this room that has that same question, so please don't be afraid to ask. I'm Denise McCracken. This is Allison Buckner. You've probably worked with both of us. I'm full-time here, Director of Admissions, and Allison is here several days a week. So even going forward, once you get homeroom teachers and you get into your schedule, if there's ever anything you need, don't ever be afraid to contact the admissions department. If we can't answer the question, we'll find the person who can. Okay, so we're going to start tonight with a word of prayer. If you'll all bow your heads.
God, thank you so much for today. Thank you for every one of these people and families represented here tonight. God, I just thank you for just our school and all that you're doing and working in this school. And I just thank you that these families out here are now going to get to be a part of that and to become a part of the Strong Rock story and just our mission here at Strong Rock to impact and to educate and to inspire, God. I just pray right now just health over this school and wellness. And as we enter into these different times right now, I thank you that we have the ability to be in this building, to feel your presence, to know your presence, God, and to speak your name. I thank you for that, and I thank you for the assurance that you give us for every day and for the purpose that you give us every day. God, I just pray protection on our staff, on our school, on our families, on these kids. I just pray that we feel your hand on us. I thank you for the opportunity that you've allowed all of us to have here at this school. Just be with us, just guide us, just help us just as we venture into this start of a new year, God. This year has started out crazy, but I just pray that we finish it as one of the greatest years yet. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your son that died on the cross for every single one of us. And it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Okay, we're going to start tonight. I'm going to introduce Judy Johnston. She is actually our elementary principal and our academic dean. She's going to give you some big picture information about how we're going to handle COVID-19, kind of the elephant in everybody's room. and then we're going to get into kind of more the daily routine of the school. So, Ms. Johnston?
Welcome. We're excited that you're here tonight, and I'm going to share a couple things with you. You know, one of the things we've done since March is we've done every bit of research we can. We've been in on a lot of Zoom meetings with personnel from other private Christian schools, public schools. We have worked with everybody we can talk to, our own personal doctors that are parents here. And we want and we believe that the best way children learn is face-to-face. And so our goal is find a way to bring children into the school safely and educate them. You know, we've looked at things that the CDC says, we've looked at the American Academy of Pediatrics, and they all say children need to be in school. And so we've really worked hard to make that happen. And you'll see tonight we were wearing masks. I'll give you a quick tip on masks. I said we research everything. If you wear glasses, what's the biggest problem with masks? Fogging up. I'll show you a trick. Just put a little Kleenex at the top of your mask. All you have to do, just set it at the top when you put it on. Works amazingly. So that was a free tip for tonight. We have read everything we can get our hands on. And that's intentional. We want to make sure that we are opening school thinking of everything. And we have a leadership team that has worked all summer. Our head of school, Paul McCracken, our president, David Mann, our Academy High principal and assistant principal, Daryl Herring and Toby Evans are on that. Don Owender, who was in the back and was checking temperatures when you came in, and myself, we serve on that leadership team that set the basic plans in place. But we also brought in We have a teacher leadership team, and we brought them in several times during the summer, and they have worked on this. And so after we've put it all together, we've put periodically, we put updates on the website. So if you've looked at our website, you've seen a number of things. One, you've seen that we have 3 modes of operation. You know, we'd love to say we're in mode 1, and that is normal, and we are doing business as usual. But we're not there yet right now. Right now, we're in mode 2. And so while there is some minimal spread, we're going to do a number of things to work and take care of children as we educate them. And so you'll see some things listed on the website. We hope we don't ever get to 3. That's our hope and our heart's desire. But we don't want, you know, a lot of people, the biggest question is the what if. And we have worked very hard to put a lot of things in place so that if a student here or a staff member here somehow gets COVID-19, that we will not have to shut down school. And we've talked to a number of businesses and how businesses are handling it. We talked with Chick-fil-A to talk with them about how they're handling it. We've looked carefully, and it's a moving target. If you read what is on the CDC website today, it'll be different next week. But what we are seeing is that things are lightening up a little bit. And I'll give you an example. When things started, they were saying you needed to be fever-free, symptom-free for 72 hours. So that's what was on our website. That when children came in and they had any symptom, or if a staff person came in, that we would make them stay out for 3 days. They've cut that way back. Last week, they cut it back to 24 hours. We're not quite there yet. We sat down and looked at that and said, no, we're not there yet. We're going to go 48 hours. So I encourage you, look at our website. We have a lot of information on our website that gives you, and there's about 16 bullets on there that just outline everything we're doing. But they're going to change. They're going to be updated. And as we get more information, we're going to adapt. Now, we love having you here tonight. We love parents in the building. One of the saddest things about all of this is you won't have as much access to your child during the day as you normally would. And that is just everybody's protection. We're going to take everyone's temperature that enters this building from the time we get here in the morning. We're going to be taking temperatures all day long, but we're not going to have the same access to the building. And so we've changed a number of things like that. And so if you have a reason to be here, we'll work with you. But we are cutting that back. Right now as we begin school, we want to keep everybody safe. And so we are looking at that. We've done a lot of things. You'll hear them talk about reducing class size. We did that in order to be able to physically space children. We've done a lot of things at lunchtime. The way we handle lunch, the way we seat children at lunch, all during the day. And we're going to treat children a little bit differently depending on where they are in the building. On the elementary world, they are in a pod, and they stay with their pod all day long. First grade, we have 4 pods, 4 classes. They won't do things together like they have in the past. They'll go to recess separately. They'll eat lunch separately. And so everything they do will be their pod. And even at lunch, and even in the classrooms, you'll see us physically distancing. And doing all those kinds of things is going to mean that when something happens, we don't have to react drastically. We can. And somebody said, okay, what if one child gets it? Then that child and any sibling they have is going to go home. Because in a family setting, you interact with each other very intimately, very closely. You share the same things. You touch the same things. You sit in the same places. You are using everything together in a family home. In a classroom, we're not letting that happen, and we're protecting. And so we're keeping people further apart. We're protecting all the things they use. So if one person were to get it, that child would go home, all their siblings would go home. We would keep the class in place if it's just one person. And again, There's not a one-size-answer-fits-all here, because it's one thing if it's a kindergarten class and they've been together all day, every day, and if it's a senior and they've been in lots of places in the building. But our goal is that person goes home, their family members go home, and then we monitor the people so we'll do temperature checks periodically. We'll check on folks. But that's our goal. Now, if we have several people that start coming down, we got to take a different approach. It might be we move the class, and we have several places we can move people. We might move that class to a different location and do a heavy-duty cleaning. And we're doing more cleaning this year than ever. We have different systems in place. But our goal is to keep children here. And we want to have a personal relationship with your child. In the midst of all this, we think that's important. So, thank you for being here tonight. If you have questions, I'm going to be here. We're training our staff this week, and we're spending a lot of time on every situation, because we want them to know what to do to take care of your children. And so we've spent a little time every day this week, a lot of time today on it, a lot of time tomorrow on it. We want your child to be safe at Strong Rock. And so if you have questions about it, we treat it a little differently on both sides, but I can talk to you about anybody in the building. We care about you and your kids. And so we want you safe. We want them safe. So I'll be here. If you have questions, come see me. But we're excited that you're here and a part of Strong Rock Christian School. Thank y'all.
All right, thank you, Ms. Johnston. All right, so just kind of the layout of the evening. Each of you should have gotten a blue folder when you came in. The folder is unique to your child. So on the right-hand side of the folder is going to be information there's some general information about dress code, how to order uniforms, things like that. There's also on that same side, there's going to be some specific things for each of your children. There may be summer reading information in there. There may be drop-off and pick-up information in there. There could be a supply list in there. So the right side, again, is more specific to your child. The left side, there should be a document that looks kind of like this. It has our mission statement on it. This is kind of where we're going to work off of tonight. We may integrate some of that other information into it, but this is our main document we're going to work off of. I'm not going to read everything on this. You are able to do that. I am going to hit highlights for each of these areas, and Alice and I are going to kind of trade off here, so you don't have to hear just my voice tonight. But again, if you have questions when we're going through this, please stop me and make sure I answer your question. The first page is our mission statement, our vision statement, our motto, and core values. I'm not going to go over this. We just felt this was very important for you to have this. This is who we are. So we want you to know who we are, what we stand for. So at some later time, if you want to read that, you may. The next set is drop-off information. So in the morning when you come to the school, school officially starts at 8 o'clock. You can get here as early as 7 o'clock in the morning. If you get here at 7 o'clock in the morning, you will drop your child off at our Academy High School entrance. Some of you may know where that is, some of you may not. So when you come into the school from the parkway and you come to the football stadium, if you take the second right, so you go past the first driveway, go to the second driveway, follow that the whole way around the school, it'll take you to the back side of the school, which is our Academy High School entrance. If you're dropping off any child between 7 and 7:35, that's where you're going to drop your child off. They'll drop them off, we'll do a temperature check with your child, and they'll go into the cafeteria until it's time for them to go to their actual class. Elementary goes to class at 7:35. Elementary is 3-year-old to 4th grade. And if you're 5th grade or higher, you go at 7:45. So that's kind of a holding area down there until you can go to your main class. There's no fee. You don't have to pay anything extra to come early. That's provided by us. Then at this designated time, you'll then go to your normal classroom and start with your day. Some reasons we do that, for the high school students, we offer tutoring. Every high school and middle school teacher is required to do tutoring twice a week. They do a morning session typically and an afternoon session. So from 7:15 to 7:45, if you have an academy or a high school student, they are allowed to go to tutoring. It is optional. It is no charge. You can go every week that they offer it. You can go just before a test, or you never have to use it. But it is there for you. So that's why in high school you can't go to your room until 7:45. The reason for the lateness of that. We are asking, the first week of school, we are allowing families of kindergarten through 5th grade students that they can, come in, take that morning picture the first day of school. But then after that, we are asking that you let the children walk in. I promise you we will have plenty of people to help them get to their classroom. They do better when you drop them off and let them come in typically, and they will get into their own pattern. So they'll want to get out of that car and be a big kid and walk into the building and go to their classroom. So we are asking that. We want you to be on the campus, like Ms. Johnson said, but we are trying to take precautions here early on. If you are here, if you do arrive to school after 8 o'clock, you will be required to check your child in. So if you get here after 8, you'll have to get out of the car and then actually come in and check them in, because at that point they're considered tardy. Work with us for the first week or so, because this is all a new procedure for us as far as doing temperature checks. So we're going to be pretty lenient until we get this down to a system. But on a normal instance, 8 o'clock is considered, after 8 is considered tardy. Okay. There is, on the right-hand side, you're going to see some diagrams they look sort of like this. You're going to see drop-off diagrams. These are drawn by me. I apologize. I am not an artist. But it'll kind of give you an idea of what the drop-off lines look like when you come into the campus. For the elementary, we will have safety patrol and teachers out there getting your children out of the car and getting them into the building. On the high school side and academy side, obviously they're able to get out and come in the building themselves. But this will give you a feel for how to enter the campus and where to go. Any questions on morning drop-off? Okay. We're going to move then to class and hallway procedures. So you saw us all have masks on tonight when you came in. What we're asking of our academy and high school students is that when they enter the building, when they leave the building, when they're in the hallway, when they're at their lockers, and when they're going to and from lunch, that they wear a mask. Anytime that they can't keep a safe space between them and everybody around them, we ask that they wear a mask. When they're in their rooms, they can still wear a mask if you want, but you'll see when you come to open house, the rooms are set up, the desks are spread far apart. They look a little different than what a room usually looks like on the first day of school, but we did it that way so that when they were in the room, they don't have to keep their mask on if they don't want to. So that's what we're doing. For PK, for 3-year-olds through 4th grade, Judy touched upon it, you're going to be in your own little pod or your own little family. So when you move around the school, we're going to make sure you are distanced from other grades and other students in the building. So again, you don't have to wear a mask at all, 3 years old through 4th grade. If you want to, you're always welcome to. We are going to have hand sanitizer stations throughout the school. You saw when you came in the door here. We're also going to have hand sanitizer in each of the rooms. So we'll have plenty of opportunities for you to sanitize your hands. Students are going to be asked when they enter the school for the first time and go into their homeroom to wash their hands. So again, we're just trying to keep cleanliness as the utmost importance for all of our students and just kind of keep the spread of germs down.
All right, lunch. We're going to look at lunch next. That tends to be most people's favorite time of the day. The biggest thing I can tell you is lunch is included in your tuition. So there's no reason to have to scrape up your quarters and dimes and try to find lunch money for the day. That you've already paid for that. There are a lot of options. At the beginning of the year, there may not be quite as many options as you've heard of in the past, just to try to keep things packaged and done the way that they need to do to keep everyone safe. But we will be getting to eat lunch in the cafeteria. We've purchased some extra tables and we figured out how to spread all of that out so that the kids can be distanced in there as well. And so the plan is to get them out of those classrooms for a little while and allow them to go to the lunchroom for lunch. We do have ice cream on Fridays as well, and that's included in tuition too. So no reason to send anything for that. Our website has a great place you can go to see the menu for the younger kids. A menu should be sent home kind of the week prior, but especially if you have allergies, any type of allergies, you can go onto the Sage section of our website and plug in that allergy, and it will show you the options for your child, or show you what's not safe for your child to eat. If they're extensive allergies, we do have some parents that meet with Andrea, who is over our cafeteria, and she makes sure that we have what we need for that child as well. So those are options as well. But what we'll do for our younger students, you'll get a menu home with you the week before, and you'll circle what you want them to have or discuss with them what they want to have. That way we can have the trays fixed for them as they come in there, and it'll have their name with their slip of paper on their tray, and they'll be able to take that tray to wherever their designated spot is to eat in the cafeteria. As for the older kids, we'll just have things packaged a little different this year. The salads will be packaged a little different. I think we're probably not going to have the soups right at first, but we'll still have the pizza oven going and the section that's a little quick sandwich kind of area to grab. A lot of times it's wraps and sandwiches in the section beside the pizza, and we'll still have the hot items with the hot sides as well for the entrees. So they'll still have plenty of choices to choose from. We're going to do a lot of different things in disposable cups and trays and things, and then we'll have trash cans also stationed around the lunchroom as well. Usually we love for parents to come and eat lunch or to celebrate birthdays at lunch. Unfortunately, until some different guidelines are lowered, we're not going to be able to do that right now. So we're going to ask, just to minimize the amount of people in the building for right now, that for right now you do not come for lunch. Hopefully, as the school year progresses, we will be able to open that option back up for parents as well. So forgive us if you have a child with a birthday at the beginning of the school year. I am a parent that has 2 children with a birthday in August or September. So I guess those of us that do, we'll just have to celebrate a little extra at home. So we won't be celebrating at school. Do we have any questions about lunch? Anybody? Okay. Let's talk about, I know Denise kind of talked about the drop-off information. Let's talk about pickup. School ends for pre-K 3 through 4th grade at 2:45, and you will actually pick up where you dropped off. This year, instead of the kids crowding right there around the door, they're still going to kind of be in the hallways, but spread all down the hallways. So give us a little extra time. Hopefully you have a little bit of patience when you come and pick up in the afternoons, because we'll announce their name and they'll have to walk from the area that they're in the hallway. But they will come to your car, and a staff member will help them in the car, and then we'll move on. So pickup goes pretty quick, but like I said, for pre-K 3 through 4th grade, it's going to be that first entrance before the football field and come in front of the school, and that's where you'll pick them up, and school ends at 2:45. For 5th grade through 12th grade, school ends at 3:10. 5th grade parents will actually wait until the elementary car line is finished, and it's kind of nice. You have your own car line, so it doesn't last near as long, and you'll pull through the same area. You'll just pull up a little bit farther instead of the front doors. You'll pull up a little bit farther in front of where the 5th grade classrooms are. So you're still going to use that first entrance before the football field, and then just follow that lane around. For 6th through 12th grade, it's going to be the same area as drop-off for that age group, or as the early drop-off. So you'll use that second entrance after the football field, kind of circle around and come up by the academy and high school entrance for that. We're actually going to have our 6th through 8th graders exit out of that main doorway, and then our high schoolers are going to be exiting out a different doorway, but ending up all spread out along that grassy sidewalk area. That way we just don't have to funnel all the kids into that one doorway coming out. So it'll spread those out a little bit more. As for Wednesdays, that's early release day for us. Elementary will get out at 1:45. Same pickup area, just a different time. 5th through 12th grade will get out at 1:55. The reason for that is our middle and high school, we offer some clubs for them, and that's our club day. So those clubs will meet for that last hour on those Wednesdays. And then if you are part of the fine arts department or are playing a sport at the time, your sport or your activity with fine arts or whatever it may be will then start after the clubs. That way you can be involved in both. If you're a parent and you need to pick up at the same time every day, that's okay. We offer after school for free until 3:10 on Wednesdays. So if you can't get here at 1:45, you're used to getting here between 2:45 and 3:10, that's okay. They can go to after school for that extra hour for no extra charge. Or if you just can't remember that it's Wednesday, which I've done before, and you don't get here at 1:45, that's okay. You're not going to be charged until 3:10. Talking about that, we do offer after school. We have an after school program every day until 6 o'clock. It's $16 a day or $65 a week, depending on how often you need to use that. You can they can stay as late as 6 o'clock. For that, you will have to come into the school and check them out at the desk for after school. So that's an option. The only time it's free is for that hour on Wednesdays. We do ask if you do need to check your child out early for an appointment or anything like that, try to come at least 30 minutes before the end of the school day, just so that it's not interrupting that car rider time, because it's already kind of everybody making sure they're getting where they need to be safely. And that way we have just quiet, not a lot of people in the hall for you to get them checked out. If it's someone that we haven't learned yet, don't be surprised if an ID gets checked. They're pretty good about that in the office. Once we learn you, we'll know you, and we'll know that that child goes with you, but just be patient as we learn who you are and check IDs for that. Any questions about pickup? And there's also the diagrams in the back about pickup as well. Yes, sir.
On the early release days, I have a third grader at 1:45 and I have a fifth grader. How would I do that?
Okay, good question. I'm glad you asked that. So his question, if you couldn't hear, was he has one in elementary and then he has one in academy. And that goes for any of the days because 2:45 is the normal pickup time, 3:10. We have an option in the cafeteria where your older child is able to kind of check out your younger child. So if you have a student that ends at the 2:45 time or the 1:45 time, you will fill out a paper at open house or that first day of school saying that they will need to go to the cafeteria, and you will also need to put down the name of the sibling or cousin or just older child that you may carpool with who will be allowed to check that child out. So your younger child will, when it's time, will be escorted by a teacher to the cafeteria, and then the older child will sign them out and they will go to the car rider line with the older child. Unless you just choose to torture yourself and sit through 2 car rider lines. You can do that as well. Any other pickup? We kind of went through pickup and the car line information. Do y'all have any other questions on that? We good? Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to talk briefly about electronic devices. As most of you know, we still use books here, so your children will come home with books in their book bag. As far as electronic devices that they can bring to the school, we realize that a lot of students do have cell phones. We do not really want to see cell phones at the school, so if you are in 6th through 12th grade, you can have a cell phone, but we want it to be hidden. So keep it in your backpack, keep it in your purse, keep it in your locker. We don't want to see it, okay? There may be times in 6th through 12th grade where a teacher says, we're going to play Kahoots today, which is like a review game they play, or we're going to do some research. So there may be times where they say you can't get your device out, but otherwise, we as administrators really don't want to see the device, and they're pretty strict, I'm going to be honest. So if they see it out, the teacher will take it, and they'll keep it to the end of the day. If it happens a second time, the teacher will take it, and your parents, you guys will have to come in and get it for your students, which doesn't usually make you happy. And if it happens again, we won't let them have a phone. So we try to show some leniency. Obviously, there's certain times when you forget and you pull it out, but we really don't want to see devices. It's just a distraction, and we want the kids to be focused on what they're doing. 5th grade and under, you're really not allowed to have a device. No Apple Watches and things like that. So we ask that you adhere to that. You can email teachers. I like to say we have great communication between our teachers and our students, and our teachers and our parents. So if you have to get a message to your student, email the teacher, call the front desk. I promise you we'll get the message to them. All right. There may be times when we don't use computers in the classroom as a teaching model for each student, but there may be times where I say we use textbooks, but you're given a digital code that when you go home, you can access a textbook online so that you're not always having to carry that big AP biology textbook home or the big math textbook or whatever you might have. So, but in general, we use textbooks, and you can have technology 6th through 12th grade, but don't let us see it. Okay? Any questions with that? And I don't want to sound too mean. Okay? They can have it. We just don't want to see it. So,
Apple phone.
you can have a watch. You just don't want to hear it. Don't want to.
They can't sit and text on it.
Can't text on it. You just if it's a distraction, I would say take it off. We just want them to learn. You're paying a tuition for us to teach your children, and we want to have the least amount of distractions so we can fill them with as much knowledge as we can. So that's why we do that. Okay. Safety. Obviously, this is your most precious, valuable that you have. So when they're here at this school, they're our most precious, valuable also. So it's our job when you drop them off in the morning for us to keep them safe. So we have several ways to do that. You did not feel it tonight, but maybe if you came in for a tour or other times when the school was open, when you were at the front door, you had to ring the doorbell because the doors were locked. We keep the outer doors are all locked. They are locked throughout the day. The main entrances are staffed by either Mrs. McDonald or Mrs. Burdette. They sit there. They will, if you need to come in, when you're all family members here within about the first week of school, you'll get a family code, and that code will give you access to the building. So when you come up there, you won't have to ring the doorbell. You put your code in, the doors will open, and you can come in. If you're sending your aunt in to drop something off, or an uncle or a grandparent, and they don't have your code, they can ring the doorbell and they can gain access that way. When they do come in, we're going to ask them for ID because we do have what we call an Identikid. So whenever you come into the building, if you're going to come in, which I know we said you can't come in the beginning here because we're not allowing that, but when it comes to a point when you can start to come in the building, you will have to check in, show ID, and they'll actually take a picture, but it doesn't show up anywhere, but they'll take a picture because we want to know who's in the building at all times. If we have an emergency that we have to clear the building, or even if we just we practice a fire drill, we need to make sure we know who's in the building at all times. So we have cameras throughout the buildings, so I always tell people when you're in the building, we can see you. It's about 120 cameras that are positioned throughout the building. We do all the drills. We do the evacuation drill, the fire drill, the severe weather drills, all the drills we do with our kids so that if something does happen, they're prepared, they're not scared, they know what to do. So I can't tell you enough. Their safety is the most important to us. We have a school resource officer that is on staff. He does carry a county radio, so if there's something going on in the county, we are aware of that. He does carry a weapon, so he's here to keep us and your kids safe. So any question about safety, concerns, anything? Okay.
All right. The next paper is about open house, which is 2 days from now. It's on Thursday. We've decided that it would be best to split that up by last name. So we've put on this piece of paper the times that we will hold open house, and it is by last name, just to cut down on the number of people that are in the building. All staff will be wearing masks during open house, and we are asking that our older students and parents as well wear that, just to help stay safe. We understand that for the younger kids it's kind of hard. If you are elementary and you have gone through this process before today. I know some of y'all, we truly got you in the system today, so you may not have had this yet. But if you've been in the system at least for a couple of days, you should have been assigned to a homeroom teacher by now, and hopefully that homeroom teacher has made a phone call and gotten in touch with you and spoken to you and your child to introduce himself or herself, to let you know who your teacher is. If you are one of our students that has just tested today or maybe yesterday and we hadn't quite gotten you in the system, don't worry. They will either be calling you in the next day or so, or we will have a list at the front door for open house to look that up for you. So even if you did get a phone call and you cannot remember their name, that's okay. We will look that teacher up for you and we'll direct you which way down the hall that you need to go for open house. So just pay attention to the letters of the alphabet and what times we have for them as well. During open house, we'll have some tables set up in the cafeteria, different informational tables. I'm sure like after school will be in there. We will be in there. So really, if you have any general questions, we're still here to help you. We understand that we are the familiar face for you and we want to be that for you. So no question is crazy to ask us. If you feel crazy asking someone else, come find us. If we don't know the answer, like Denise said earlier, we will find that answer for you. But we'll also be set up there for the information that we still need from you. Some of you may have had a red piece of paper in the front of your folder tonight. That's just showing the important information that we're still missing from you. We need all of that information, but if we do not have a birth certificate by the first day of school, unfortunately, your child will have to go back home with you. So we don't want to send any children home who are excited about the school date, but it is by law that we have to have a birth certificate on file for them to attend school that first day. So if you have a red piece of paper, check that out and make sure we have the immunization, ear, eye, and dental, and birth certificate that we need on file. If you don't have a red sheet in your folder, good job. You've gotten us all the information that we need for that. If you have an older child, they do not get phone calls from their teachers because they have so many teachers. You can access RenWeb, and that should have their schedule on there. You can print that out. But as well, there will also be a spot at Open House. We can help you get your schedule as well so that you're able to go around to your different classrooms that you have. School supply lists are listed online already, so we put some in your folder. 9th through 12th grade, it gets a little sticky on what classes you have. So 9th through 12th grade probably does not have everything that they need in your blue folder. But if you'll look online, and some of the teachers will have that at Open House, you can go ahead and get that. Especially for elementary, this is just how my family has usually done it in the past. I have 3 kids, like I said, and mine are back to back. So when we were in elementary, we were all in elementary. This year they're in 5th, 6th, and 7th. So they're truly back to back. We look like we are moving in at Open House because we bring bags of stuff just so our first day of school is a little less stressful, and all we have to worry about is our child dressed? Do they have shoes on, and do they have their backpack? That way we're not worrying about hand sanitizer and Clorox wipes and everything else. You do not have to do that. That is just something we have found over the years that has been a little easier for us. So you're welcome to bring supplies to Open House. Like I said, especially for the young ones, they let you get their cubby set up and ready and things in there. For the older ones, there will be a spot to either find your locker number, or if you haven't had the chance to rent a locker yet, there are still some lockers available. You can do that for $25, and you can start putting your stuff in your locker that night and learning how to open it if you're not real sure how to open those locks. So just look for those informational tables in the cafeteria, and like I said, we will have people stationed at the front main entrance and the Academy and High entrance as well to help you out. Do we have any questions about Open House? Okay, just kind of the last thing on here is just general information.
we've told you several times now, if you have questions, don't ever feel afraid to call us. We'll be glad to help you. If it's a weekend and we're not here, or it's late at night, I would say the first place to look is always our website. And when you look at our website, StrongRockChristianSchool.com, in the upper left-hand corner, there is a tab that says Parents. And if you go into that tab, it's going to give you tons of information, just general information that you as a parent may want to know about the school. So don't ever hesitate to call us, but if we're not available and you need a resource, that's your best resource. You will be required to go on the website and read our family handbook. You'll have to fill out a paper saying you've read it. It's probably more important this year than any year, but because we had so many different things that are changing this year with the COVID-19. But you will be required to go on the website, read that, and then sign a document, and your child will have to bring it back to school saying you've read the family handbook. You will also get a yellow card and a blue card, either the first day of school or at open house. The yellow card is our emergency card. It has information on who can pick up your child, who can be contacted in case of an emergency. Obviously, it has your names, your addresses, your emails, and phone numbers. It's all pre-printed, so when you get it home, it's all information that you gave us when you applied. So check over that card. Maybe something's changed, a phone number's changed, or you were in a hurry and you spelled something wrong. Just make sure that's correct. There's several questions on the back that you have to sign off of, and that will be then brought back that first week of school with your child. We keep those on file at the school. I put all the information into the computer to make sure it's all correct in our RunWeb system. We've kind of talked about RunWeb, assuming that you all have been there because you've had to go in there and do your application, but RunWeb is your family portal. That's where you're going to go into as a mom or a dad, and you can look at grades in the portal. You can look at lesson plans. You can track your student and see in each class, make sure they're turning in all their assignments. It'll become very important to you to look in there occasionally just to kind of see how they're doing. And the other form is a blue form that's going to be sent home. That's a medical form that has specific medical questions. What, if any, medications can we give your child? Things like that our nurses need to know. We have 3 nurses actually on staff this year. We hired an extra nurse because we felt it was important this year to make sure we had medical staff here in case we needed them. If you have medications that your child needs to take, you'll hand those in at open house with the nurses, and they'll keep them in the nurse's office for them to take. We don't allow children to have any kind of medication on them. So that's why we require it to be with the nurse. If they need an aspirin, a Tylenol, a throat lozenge, teachers will always allow them to go to the nurse if you have okayed it, and they can then give them those kind of things. If you have medication they have to take throughout the day, they'll also keep that and monitor that they're taking that medication. So that's just some general things. We do have something called a Spirit Day here. We do wear uniforms, but on a lot of Fridays we let the kids wear jeans and a Strong Rock t-shirt or a sweatshirt. We'd like to have a little bit of fun on Fridays. So we'll have some Spirit Days. We usually associate those days with some kind of mission. We collect money for different mission trips, for different mission groups. So it's usually a $2 or $3 charge if you want to take part in Spirit Day. You do not have to take part. It is totally optional. Sometimes you just don't feel like wearing jeans. Right now it's hot. The boys want to wear shorts. The girls would rather wear a dress and put on a heavy pair of jeans. So it's totally optional. You'll get lots more information like that from your teachers as we go along, as to when those days are and what the cost is. It's a lot of information here, and I know it's boring to hear us just sit up here and talk, so I apologize for that. But we really want the first day for all of you to be a fun day, to get the stress, get all these questions answered so that you're not stressed that first day and you can just come in and enjoy the day. There are several other pieces of information in your packet. There is a dress code, a copy of the dress code in your packet. There's also information on how to create a Lands' End account, which is where we get our uniforms. We realize that, number one, Lands' End is a little bit behind this year with getting uniforms out, and a lot of people have enrolled later in the year this year. So the first couple weeks of school will be very flexible with dress code. So don't worry if you don't have your clothing. We ask that you still wear respectable clothing. We would still love if the boys could wear some kind of khaki and a polo shirt, and the girls would wear no holes in jeans or anything like that. They wear respectable clothes to school. But we are going to be very, very flexible with you guys until we're sure everybody can get their uniforms. Tonight, after this, our iRock Cafe is going to be open. They sell some uniform pieces. They have polo shirts, they have skirts, they have some pants and some shorts. So if you need some items just to kind of get you by, we'll direct you at the end here how to get over there. They also have some spirit wear over there, so if you need a sweatshirt or something that the kids can wear when it's maybe cold in their classroom, you can purchase it there too. But again, Land's End is who we get our uniforms through, and we'll be real flexible here in the beginning until we can get all that taken care of.
If you are on Facebook, there is a Strong Rock, I think it's called Buy, Swap, and Sell page. And it's a lot of our parents that will get on there and sell their used uniforms for $5, $10. They'll bundle some of them together and sell shorts and shirts for a certain amount. So it's a really good way to get some uniforms a lot cheaper. And so find it on there and just click to ask for an invite, and one of the administrators of that will add you to that. If you have trouble with that, just ask me. Don't ask me. Don't ask Denise. Ask me about that. We'll make sure you get on that, because that is a good way to find some uniforms a lot cheaper. And a lot of times they'll just drop them off, somewhere here by the school and put your name on it, and then you can pick it up as well.
There's just several other documents in here. We have one called the Strong Rock Community. We understand that you're going to get to meet lots of new people. So these are just some of the administrators here at the school that you may come in contact with if you have an academic question. By all means, you can call me, but I'm going to send you to either your principal or our academic dean. So it just gives you some of the names of the different people in the different departments that you may need throughout the year to contact. Communication at the Rock. We have lots of different ways you're going to get communication from us, and lots of places you can look for communication about us. So make sure you look at all the different sources and peruse through them.
I would highly recommend pay attention to the epistle. That's where you're going to, it's kind of like our newsletter. It's really where a lot of things are going to be posted. If your child has done something well, their picture may be on there. There's also, I know our volunteer opportunities will be a little less right now, but through there, and if you see P3, Patriots, partnering with Patriots, if you see a table for them around open house, go check that out. That's kind of like our version of PTO. And that's how you can really get involved as a parent. We may not get to see as many of you in the building this year as we usually do, but I'm sure there will be some opportunities that we do need some extra hands. We do need some help doing things. And our P3 board is made up of all parents, and you are a part of P3. You don't pay any kind of dues or have to come to any kind of meetings. If you're a parent here, you are part of P3, and we welcome that. And so check that out, and there's a way to sign up as well. It'll be in the epistle to get on like a sign-up genius for what volunteer opportunities we can have as well.
There is a paper here on annual giving opportunities. We have several different ways you can contribute money to the school. Some of you have taken the opportunity to use the Georgia Goal funding that we have available here at the school, and we also have an annual fund. So if you want to give to the school, our annual fund basically bridges the gap between what your tuition covers and what it costs us to actually run the school. Believe it or not, there's about a 20% gap there that we have to cover to keep the school running. So there'll be opportunities, you will get additional information from that. But probably the most fun thing we do here, you will see that we do not do fundraising here. Like, we're not going to send home information for you to sell wrapping paper or buy cookie dough and all those kind of things. We, from the first day, said we didn't want to do that. You're parents here, we don't want to make you go out and try to sell things. But we do have an auction every year. It's called Denim and Diamonds. It's an awesome night.
It's fun.
We have a live auction, we have a silent auction, and that's the night, that's our main fundraising night. We try to, our goal was always $100,000 to raise that night. This year we were blessed. We raised about $110,000, so we had a great year this year. It was actually the last event we held before we had to close the school down, so God blessed us. But it's a great event. You'll get information about that. You as parents are welcome to come. We have you can buy tables and you can have all your friends come. We have individual seating. But if you do want to come out and support the school, it's a great night. It's a fellowship and just being around everybody here at the school. And the last thing I do, we did put a calendar in here. We do follow Henry County pretty well. We did follow Henry County pretty closely as far as what they're doing, but our schedules are the same as far as breaks, the large breaks throughout the year. That's all we have, but I want to thank you for coming tonight. We have gone over tons of information. Alice and I are going to kind of be here afterwards. If you have elementary questions, go to see Allison. I have a senior this year and I have a sophomore in college, so I kind of have been through most of the upper school. So if you have any middle school or high school questions, come ask me. And our CEO is at the back of the room, Mr. McCracken. If you have any questions for the head of school, you have any financial questions, he's going to wave his hand so you can see him. He is back there. And Judy Johnston, who spoke to you, our academic dean, is going to be in the back of the auditorium too. So if you have questions and you didn't feel right asking them in a group, please come and ask us before you leave tonight. I said the IROC Cafe was going to be open. If you go out this set of doors on the far side of the gym, make a right out those doors, and you're going to go through the courtyard, and you'll see signs to the IROC Cafe. Please feel free to stop in there. If you don't have time today, it will be open at open house, so you can also go there for open house. Any general questions? Yes?
Outside of the sales, it's kind of what people on the one campus, because like Chromebooks, assigned to students.
Our libraries have class sets of Chromebooks that if the teacher has something that she needs it for the class for that specific day, then they can the teacher can check out a classroom set. That as for day-to-day, the students are not given or assigned any type of technology. They're welcome to use the computers in the classroom, in the library, but they are not checked out. They're not allowed to check out a Chromebook, if that makes sense. No. And we'll have what they need. There's no expectation on technology.
Anybody else? All right. Thank you so much for being here. Please feel free to ask us any questions you might have, and please be safe going home tonight.